You're welcome. On May 29, 2023, remember that day, Bola Tinubu was sworn in as Nigeria's 6th democratically elected president and 16th head of state. And from day one, his performance has been under scrutiny. Indeed, a review, as we will have tonight, of the performance of the Bola Tinubu administration cannot but start from the day, that particular day, when he made his first policy statement.
We govern you only on your behalf, but never rule over you. We shall consult and dialogue, but never dictate. We shall reach out to all, but never put down a single person for holding view contrary to our own. We are here to further mend and heal this nation, not tear and injure it. We shall defend the nation from terror and all forms of criminality that threaten the peace and stability of our country. No provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
Of course, that statement was made to rapturous applause and, of course, cheers. But since then, the Bola Tinubu administration has gone on to implement various policies which have had an impact one way or the other on Nigeria. We have policies, for instance, in the economy, policies in security, education, healthcare, and so on. Now, May 29, 2024, a few days from now, will mark the full first year of the Tinubu administration, and tonight we begin a review of the performance of the Bola Tinubu administration 1 year on. Now to our guests. Joining me tonight on Politics HQ, Akin Bashiru, he's a chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress, and Ladipo Johnson, spokesperson for National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP. Both joining us in the studio. Gentlemen, good evening. It's good to have both of you.
Good evening.
Yes, you look both alike. I may be tempted to think you're both in the same political party.
We are Nigerians, anyway.
All right, fantastic.
So we share similar.
I want to start from you. Akin, can you describe the performance of President Bola Tinubu in his first 12 months as president of Nigeria in one word?
Assuring.
Assuring?
Yeah.
All right. Why do you say assuring? Assuring sounds, it doesn't sound too confident.
When you say something assuring, it's confident.
Okay.
You said I should describe it in one word.
Yeah.
And for me, it's assuring.
Right.
And when you say something is assuring, is that you're hopeful.
Hopeful.
You're confident. I mean, the tendency for it to attend to solve anticipated problems is very, very high. When you say something is assuring, it means there are hopes there.
Okay, so when you're talking about hope,
Yep.
Which I thought I would hear excellent, amazing, fantastic, very good, exceeding expectations. But assuring seems a bit, it seems like you're being cautious.
No, it depends on your own understanding and interpretation of all that. If you're saying something is excellent, there are parameters to determine what is excellent. All right? Bola Tinubu has come in the office for a 4-year term, and he has said he's coming with a renewed hope. When you say a renewed hope, it tells you that there have been a lot of things that have not gone well. And if you're talking about renewed hope, it means that there are a lot of things that will have to be done to bring back hope to the people. That cannot be done, within...
So your word is assuring.
It's assuring,
Ladipo Johnson,
And,
what is your one word for to describe Bola Tinubu, Tinubu's administration 1 year on?
It's difficult for me. I'm trying. I don't want to go too far away from assuring. At the same time, I won't be answering your question properly. I want to say what they need to do, not what it is. You understand?
No, yeah, but you have to first say what it is to say what they need to do. So is it that you can't muster a word to describe?
Yes, I don't want to seem too harsh. At the same time,
no, feel free.
Okay. Let me say 40-ish%.
40%.
Yeah.
40%.
Yeah.
You? 70%. That's an. Is that an A?
That's an A.
That's
He's
an A.
giving him an A.
An A. All right. And yours is it a D or a C?
Oh, well, it's a lower C,
Lower
I think.
C. C minus.
C, yeah.
Let's
lower
call it
C.
D.
Because I know that when things are re-engineered, they still have the chance to... Some people will tell you that a year is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But I suppose when we begin to discuss that, you'll see that I'm trying to be fair, I'm trying to be balanced, not political here. So I believe that there's room. We all know that even with an A, there's room for improvement, but where we're at, when we look at various issues, I think we're in a university setting, 40% is not a failure.
It's not a failure.
Exactly.
So Ladipo Johnson, it seems you're saying that it's the Bola Tinubu administration hasn't performed that bad, because in governance in Nigeria, if you score 40%, looking at how governance has gone over the years, it's reassuring.
For me...
So you're going with him?
Well, not really. What I'm saying with my 40% is that it ought to have been better. You see, I prefer the grading system you have in England. You have A1, B1, C. You understand what I'm saying? You have the alphabet, and then you have the numeral. So A is for effort. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what you have achieved, running down to 5. So what we're saying here is maybe effort. There's been activity, but I think they have it wrong, and we'll discuss it. So effort, I could say C, but targets and whatever, I could say 4, not 5.
4. Interesting. You have any reservations as to that? Comment on what he said?
I have comments. In the first place, I want to thank him that he didn't go far away from the fact that what we have now is quite reassuring. That's number one. Number two, in terms of grading, luckily enough, I was once a lecturer in the university, so I understand what grading is all about. Okay? When you set exam for students, you have what you call a marking guide. Mm-hmm. You have parameters with which you judge. So, if you have a 4-year term or a student of the university who is going to spend 4 years in school, the parameter which you're going to judge his first year in school is not going to be the same parameter which you're going to judge the last year in the university. Do you get it? So it depends on what are the parameters, what are the mandates, what are the challenges that you're expecting from a particular person to have put in place in a foundational year. And the foundation has been laid, and I'm happy for what he said. We're not here to discuss politics. We're here to discuss Nigeria. We're here to look at things the way they are, the policies that are being put in place. Are there activities on all fronts, okay, that brings hope that with time, we will surely get out of the wood. I think that we're at a foundational level. And for any Nigerian to look at the current government, the question you must be asking yourself is this: are we working towards laying foundation? if you're saying you're a renewed hope, it shows clearly that where we're coming from, we have entered a code. And when the system enters a code, it means it has to be encoded. And encoding cannot be by accident. There are processes, there are procedures for you to get back to default state.
So you're thanking him for at least acknowledging that some progress has been made.
Definitely. There's no Nigeria will say that no progress has been made.
So progress has been made. That's what you're saying.
Well, the way I see it is this. I look at the administration and I say that this administration was part of the last administration. That's where I start from. One might think that I am not correct or whatever, but I believe that they were part and parcel of the Buhari administration. They helped in bringing him to government. The other question that one would ask the average Nigerian is, are you better off now than you were, say, a year ago or 2 years ago? That's left to viewers to answer.
All right.
Now, there've been activity, we've both said, lots of activities. That's why I said effort, good, there's been activity and what have you. But the resultant effect, I know there's still time. We haven't reached midterm. This is the first year, as Mr. Is it Mr. Doctor or what? Mr. Bashiru said. We haven't reached midterm, right? But we've had activity. But then, the figures out there, the situation out there, are the realities on ground.
All right.
You understand? When we talk about inflation, when we talk about the cost of living.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Akin Bashiru, what's your take on the performance of Bola Tinubu in the area of the economy? And, generally speaking.
Anyway, I don't know. When you say area of economy,
Yeah.
economy...
Generally speaking, your general take.
No. When you say economy...
Okay, so let's start with inflation management.
Yeah.
When the president came into office, the headline inflation, that was in May 2023, was between 22 and 23%. 22%. Today, headline inflation is 33.69%. Latest figures for April 2024 released by the National Bureau of Statistics. It's getting worse.
Yeah. Inflation is rising. But are there factors responsible for this? Could we have eaten our cake and have it?
So are you agreeing that the economy is worse 1 year on?
It depends on what you mean by the economy is worse.
I've told you, sir.
No.
Inflation
Sir,
in 2023, May 2023, was 22%. It's increased by 11 percentage points plus to 33.69.
Yeah.
It means that the general price level has increased under 1 year of Bola Tinubu.
Yeah. The question you want to ask is this: why is there inflation? You want to ask that. In the first place, where are we coming from? What kind of economy were we running where we're coming from? Is it a production-based economy or consumption-based economy? And if there's going to be a paradigm shift, some things must definitely give, you understand? And fine. Okay, if you're talking about inflation just rising, okay, you equally also understand that in some other areas, there are new developments, there are new thinking, there are achievements that, will give us the assurance that with the proper management of the various microeconomic policies in a holistic manner, because you cannot separate all of this, from one another. So what I'm trying to say is that inflation, fine, but they are responsible for it. For example, now, we're not a production country, we are consumption. And the moment you now want to limit your consumption level and increase your production, in the meantime, that you're no longer relying on import as it were before, and you're trying to do what? To produce your own, there must be a gap, definitely. It's what we're saying now. We're talking about agri now, about food security. I can talk about food security when you continue to import.
So you're saying that the president met a bad situation on ground.
Come again?
The president met a bad situation.
I'm not the one saying that. You know that. Everybody knows it.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not the one saying that. You know yourself. Imagine a situation whereby the president came into government and the first thing he started doing was to be paying debts accumulated by a government. Do you get that? That in the first place,
I'm sure you're aware
is
of how
a
bad things were.
disruption.
Thank you, sir. Ladipo Johnson.
Yes, things were bad, but as I said, politically speaking, they came from the same camp, the same, you understand? So, and when you get into the kitchen, you do not complain about how hot it is, because you knew the situation before coming out. Now, inflation is rising. Food inflation is even worse than what you're talking about. And food inflation is very important, especially in our climate, with the people that we have. That's within how many months? Just a year, okay, 12 months. Let's look at the value of the Naira within 12 months as well. You understand? And some people will say, oh, it's improving because, you know, it fell to about 2,000 to the dollar at a stage. And now it's sitting at about 1,400 and something as at this morning. And I say, okay, yes, if there's been a slight improvement, but where did it come from? On May 29th, maybe we're on 700 or something, and that has happened. So we must look, and the president must look. You see, I keep saying to people that surely I'm not an economist, you know, I'm a lawyer. I can't say that I know more economics than the CBN governor or Wale Edun or what have you. So I begin to wonder that why do you, to be fair to him, back to what's this thing called? Subsidy wasn't budgeted for. You understand? What people are complaining about is the way...
So you're saying Bola Tinubu is not the one that removed subsidy?
He didn't remove...
That must sound like a relief to hear that.
No, it's the truth.
You go to battle about
It's
that.
the truth.
There's no battle.
It's the truth, my brother. It's the truth. I'm telling you, I want to balance things. I want to tell the truth.
But he made a statement.
That's what I'm about to say.
Okay.
That my problem, what I didn't like, was the way he said it, knowing how Nigerians panic and how they take advantage of situations. You understand? It's the same way that he made statements about Niger when the coup happened. You understand? Someone told me yesterday, well, he had just become president, blah, 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 blah. You understand? But these things, you take it into, as we said, this is the first year. These things you take into consideration.
All right.
And I believe that they will learn, I pray that they learn from these things.
When we come back from the break, because are you saying, Ladipo Johnson, when we come back from the break, that yes, indeed, Tinubu inherited a bad situation and it was only bound to get worse before it got
No,
better?
I'm not saying that.
You're not saying that. We'll be right back. Let's take a break, and of course, we'll continue the conversation afterwards. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics HQ right here on News Central Television. And of course, we have Akin Bashiru, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Ladipo Johnson, Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, an opposition party. And of course, we continue with our look or x-ray of 1 year on of Bola Tinubu's administration. Ladipo Johnson, before we went on the break, you were saying that indeed the president was not the one who removed fuel subsidy.
No, he didn't.
Contrary to what most Nigerians think.
Yes, he didn't.
But
I'm saying that the mention of it, the way he did, as with other things that he's done, like Niger Republic, the coup d'etat, and what have you, led, I think he's beginning to understand anyway that he's presidential. And what he says is important, you understand, and he cannot speak just as a politician and everything. But back to what you actually said, I'm not saying that because he inherited a situation, the economy was bound to tank southwards. I'm saying my position is that it wasn't necessary. Where we are at the moment is not necessary. We shouldn't, if they had found an equilibrium to it, we shouldn't be at this stage. My brother is saying here that, to set things, you have to break an egg to fry an omelette. You understand? Which is right in certain ways. But are we saying that things were so bad that we have to, crash the economy to
So it could have been better handled?
Definitely.
But most of the candidates who campaigned,
Yes.
the leading candidates in 2023 in the election, said they were going to remove fuel subsidies. Is that not the case,
Yes.
Akin?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Let me quickly correct an impression. He was saying Tinubu's administration is an offshoot of the past administration. I don't think so. If PDP had won the election, or Labour Party has won the election, it will still be a continuation of the last government. Let's get that. But if you're talking about APC or whatever, Tinubu is different from Buhari. Have you ever seen any president in this country that has been so active on all cylinders like Asiwaju, that has personally staked his reputation, his leadership, leading, governmental activities like any other president?
I don't want to interrupt.
What I'm trying to say is this: Bola Tinubu is Bola Tinubu. Buhari is Buhari.
But
He said he wanted to continue from where
Yes,
Buhari had stopped. He said it himself.
My brother, I've told you one thing. Even if Labour Party had won, will he have continued from where the last government didn't stop? You will still have continued from that place. Do you get that? And if you look at the policies of Tinubu now, you won't say the same policy that Buhari, ran. It's not. So if PDP has come in, it will continue from where Tinubu stopped. From where Buhari stopped. Let's leave that as it is. Even from the clip you played on subsidy, if you listened very well, except that we have a country where personal interest, political interest, or whatever interest of people who have held this country down are involved, they misinterpret. Even from the clip you gave. Before Tinubu said subsidy is gone, he said there is no provision for subsidy, which is a fact, because in the budget preceding this coming in, Buhari did not make provision for subsidy beyond June. So Tinubu said that there is no provision for subsidy, therefore subsidy is gone. So he prepared even that statement he made. But be that as it may, where we are today.
Where are we today?
Where are today? We're at a point where we're making progress to get better. And like take for example now, we're talking about increase in this and all that. Fuel subsidy is taken away.
We're trying to get better. But are we trying to get better from a worse off position than when the president was sworn in, or a better position from when the president was sworn in?
It depends on what you are looking at.
Because it could be either you're trying to get better and better, or you're taking one step forward, two steps backward.
No.
Everybody's trying to get better.
Can I tell you this?
Even the worst performing economy is trying to get better.
Can I tell you this? There is no country that has made it that has not sacrificed. You remember China, how they did it? When they closed themselves away from the world, and they came within themselves. After some years, they came out better. So if you think that the same way we have been coming is the way we should follow, then we're not thinking great.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I would want to agree with him, but for this. If the president had come in last May and he had smaller government than President Buhari, I would begin to say, yes, he's cutting costs, he's doing this, he's doing that. We haven't seen anything like that. After a few months back, in the midst of all this, Orasoye report, let us cut costs. They go and get an outdated report. It's even good that they now realize that they need to cut the cost. We're talking about the CBN monetary policy, fiscal policy.
Are you talking also looking at the expenses from the budget for running vehicles or the presidential fleet?
All those
the
things
President's
together.
Wife, National Assembly.
All those things together. You see, when you tell the people, he alluded to something, we must sacrifice. Fantastic. We all agree. When you tell the people, tighten your belt, subsidy is gone, fuel, IMF comes. What's the other one? Electricity subsidy should go, or what have you. Fantastic. The people are suffering. And the people turn and look at you, the leaders, and can't point to one or two things that you have cut, either from the 20-something million from the senators or almost 19 million from the House of Reps every month. Then the people begin to wonder, why are we the only ones, you understand, cutting costs and suffering or getting or sacrificing for the future? So what I'm saying is that, as I said before, there are lots of activities, but if they're not careful, they will lose the support. He will lose the support of the people, which he needs in the medium term to be able to properly fight insecurity, restore the economy, begin to drive inflation down. You need the support of the people. But don't lose that support.
You will get the support of the people when your policies are impacting, when the results are showing. The support will come naturally.
Are the results showing?
Excuse me?
We're talking about inflation management here.
No, leave inflation now.
No, we're on inflation. We can't leave inflation.
I've told you one thing.
It's what determines how people survive.
Excuse me, I've told you one thing. You see, let us stop narrowing our discourse.
No, we're going to move on to other things.
You understand?
We're going to exchange rate very soon.
I've told you earlier that there are parameters that will inform...
But here's made a point.
What is the point?
And honestly, I feel sorry for you because it's a difficult situation you're in.
No, I'm not in a difficult situation.
Because
what's the point he made?
The point he's made is you talked about sacrifice.
Yes.
He's saying that from day one, the president and the administration, they've done everything but sacrifice.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to
I don't need to go into details.
Don't worry.
That's what he's saying.
You see, when you talk about sacrifice, what are you even talking about? All right?
You talked about sacrifice.
I said sacrifice. He was talking about cutting costs.
But what sacrifice are you talking about?
What I'm saying is this. Let's assume tomorrow you become the CEO of this place. You are bound to come with new thinking. Isn't it? And if you think that some things have been done in the past that has made this agency to be unduly independent on a particular source of income, all right, and you think that's not the right way to go, your new policy would naturally impact on the administration before you can... But let me talk about even
Mr. Bashiru.
Yes, please.
The president said that he was going to hit the ground running.
Sure.
He came out and said there's no provision for subsidy and made a statement subsidy is gone. Nigerians poured out to the streets in panic to try and fill their tanks up, and the price of petrol has gone up. Since then, people are now buying petrol for 800 naira, between 600 and 800 naira, or 590 and 800 naira per litre.
Yeah.
And petrol costs more than 2 times what it cost before.
Yes.
Now. And we want to talk about other aspects.
Yeah.
1 kg amount of local rice.
Yeah.
Losing local rice. Average price, according to NBS, is more than 1,500 naira.
Yeah.
Last year, it cost just over 500 naira.
Yeah.
Today, I spoke to Nigerians around the country who complain about the fact that they can't afford to feed. Someone told me that he used to buy buka rice and beans for 400 naira, and then he'll buy meat, and he could eat to get full. He can't afford that because it's 1,000 naira today. What he spends is he buys fufu, 2 wraps at 200 naira each, 400 naira so he can be full. He doesn't like to eat swallow, and 2 meats at 100 naira each.
Oh, God.
So it costs Nigerians over 100% to be able to afford food without a concomitant increase in their purchasing power. What it means is that the purchasing power of the average Nigerians has been decimated by more than 100%.
Yeah.
These are the facts.
Yeah.
According to the NBS, inflation is worse off, at least 11.47%. So these are the facts. It is clear that the administration has not been able to tame inflation.
Yeah.
So what can you say to make it look like the administration has performed? I'm not here to hold brief for Ladipo Johnson. He is a politician, I'm not.
I'm not even speaking as a
Yeah.
politician.
I'm just painting
today.
the facts.
Yeah.
Yes. No, please, I want you to speak as a politician.
No.
So what can you say to it? Because these are real issues, sir. The streets are not smiling. Are you smiling?
Excuse me. I am not out of this country. I'm in the country.
Are you feeling the pain?
Why not? Everybody feels the pain, and that's the truth.
But you're here to say the president, you're saying that he has performed.
Why not? Has he not performed? Is it because I'm feeling the pain that has now removed other positives of the government?
May I rephrase it?
No. I mean, what are we saying here?
May I rephrase something? May I just say something? We're all feeling the pain, right? Has he not performed? Right? He says, why not? For me, it is that if the performance were such that, yes, the drip is going through, as a patient, you understand that that drip is going through, that it is, what's this thing called? Not malaria, but typhoid that we're treating, right? As a patient, you know that you're still going to take 2-3 sachets of drip. You wait patiently. You understand? But what I'm saying at the moment, where we just differ, is that the body language of the government is not such, I won't say across board, but in most things, is not such that the average man would have confidence, the assurance my brother spoke about at the beginning, that we are even turning to face the right direction. But I know that there are some competent hands in the government. That is why I said that I know that they have time before midterm to begin to talk. I'm not looking for magic. I know that it's going to take a process. But we need to begin to see that these things are coming in, turning gradually. For instance, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You asked the questions.
Yes, I want us to move on to look at the exchange rate.
Yeah.
In May 2023, the Naira exchanged at an average of 460 to the US dollar. And of course, you all know what it is today, more than 1,500.
I even thought it was 700. It was 4 something.
Yes. 160 Naira 75, 160 Naira 70 kobo, to the US dollar in May 2000, on average. Today it's more than 1,500 Naira. Ladipo Johnson, is this an indication of failure?
This is what we say in law, res ipsa loquita.
My God.
The fact speaks for itself. When you have an accident or something, you plead or something, you plead res ipsa loquita. When you are saying particular sort of negligence, it is clear, the court can see it. You understand? We're talking about figures.
You're taking us to law school tonight.
Yeah, you're talking about figures, right? Yeah. What I always tell my friends is that whatever has happened, the bottom line, I say it in Yoruba, is that Benin Republic, their currency is stronger than the Naira. As at tonight. Gambia, the economy isn't even as big as Ogun State, stronger than the Naira.
But Gambia has historically been better than Nigeria. The Gambian dynasty,
when?
Right from the days of Yahya Jammeh.
When?
Gambia is a special case.
Okay, how about the CFA?
It's been higher.
It's because of the tourism. It's because of the tourism
on the African continent.
Because of the tourism.
Even better than the South African rand.
How about the CFA? I leave that to my big brother.
Would you compare the physical management, the management of forex exchange in those countries you are talking about, without Nigeria pre-Tinubu era, where every Dick and Harry deals with forex?
Yes, but at that time, the exchange rate was better. He just told us 400 and something.
Don't worry, it was better. But at the same time, it was clear to all of us. There are people who are benefiting from it. They will get the official rate from the bank. They go out there to forex. Lays their pocket. So you see, when you now say you are looking for a unified exchange rate, it must have implications. There's no doubt about that. But the question I want to ask is this: what is the government doing? At a point, all of us were celebrating that Naira was the most performing currency in the world. It was a reality. Suddenly,
It became the worst performing.
yeah.
Which it is still now.
So, which means, do you know that before now some people feeding on it, you are dislocating them. You are dislodging them. They are cabals in their own right. And somebody said, if you don't fight corruption, corruption is going to kill you. So, which means that at some point, the government have put in place some policies, some strategies that have helped Naira to get strong at some point. And now that we are facing what we are currently facing, it builds on the government again to look backwards and check, are those strategies still working for us? If they're not working for us, what are the other things that we need to do?
Johnson, I mean, of course, you can't deny the fact that we've had currency racketeering and a lot of economic and sabotage in the sector. And even the new CBN governor had to say that there's a lot of economic sabotage which they had to clean up. And the government came in, the administration came in to be in a very bad situation. We are trying to clean up.
The government came in. It was 400 and something to the dollar.
60 naira, 70 kobo.
Good. They came in. They didn't come in immediately and say that they're going to deal with the Bureau de Change people. They came in, they said they were going to float the naira. You're floating, I'm not an economist, you're floating naira at the same time that you're getting rid of subsidy. You're bound to have problems. So we shouldn't be crying about the problems now because it was policy decision taken. And that it's led us down. We haven't reached the abyss. That's why I am saying, they have time to turn around. But we have to be open and truth to ourselves about these things. Those early decisions do not seem to have taken us in the right direction. You understand? When you add that to insecurity that came from Buhari's time, where a lot of people have been chased from the farms, then you get food inflation, which is at 40-something%. From that food inflation, you have people, they're bringing in food from Benue to Lagos, to Abuja, to whatever. You have our natural checkpoints, tax collectors, forgive me for saying that, the men in black or blue. You have them there, adding to the costs. Then the fuel prices that have gone up.
So
and
at least all the making.
Good. I was just going to say, and then the president is not the only one is not solely to blame for it. You have the Nigerian in a part. That's why I told you I'm not speaking as a politician. You have the average Nigerian man who has a petrol station, creates artificial scarcity, and then sells even higher than the market price.
And when that happens, it's the president.
You understand?
You understand.
But I will not exonerate the president from the initial policy decisions.
But are his efforts to make sure that the naira is strengthened, are they working?
As of today, they're fluctuating. They have a running battle. You see, they used part of the things they said they wouldn't do. They had to start to do it. They used part of your strategic foreign reserves to try to prop up. They've gone to get loans, about 2-3 now, right?
All right, Ladipo Johnson, when we come back, we'll hear from Akin Bashiru, yes. But I would like to know what the NNPP would have done better. Okay, we still have some time. So you're saying that, they dip their hands into the countries for external reserves and they're using it to prop up the naira, to frame the naira, try and make
I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm
so
saying they said they wouldn't.
What would the NNPP
They said
done?
they wouldn't.
Yes.
But now what they did has now forced them to start to do that.
So what would the NNPP as a party have done if it got into power differently? To have kept the naira at 406?
The first thing is that the cost of governance is too high, right? And unfortunately for us, you have to lead from the front. Remember, we were talking when Buhari came in, it was all body language. the president's body language and what have you. The costs of governance has to come down. It just has to come down. And other things as well that surround that. Now it is good that they've started saying that they want to work on the Orosanye report, do better. They know that the figures have changed, but they're looking in that direction now. Fantastic. That's that. We probably would not have been daring enough, you understand? I don't want to use another word, to have let the Naira loose at the same time that you are... and when you were saying earlier, Kofi, that all the candidates said they would get rid of subsidy. Mm-hmm. I remember that my man, Senator Kwankoso, said that most likely subsidy has to go, but they would have to look at things first. I remember I was on a program with someone from the PDP, and he said, no, Atiku on day one, subsidy is gone. And I said, well, we won't say that, because you have to look at the welfare of the people. There are other contending factors that we have to look at to try to balance things. At every stage, try to balance. There are times that naturally we have to go through pain so that tomorrow can be better. There are times like that, but you have to balance things.
Yeah, but yes. Yeah, I think that's the period where... Let me quickly talk about this reduction of cost of governance. Hmm? If you expect Mr. President to come and decree and say, as from today, National Assembly go and reduce, it doesn't go, please. It doesn't,
I know he won't do that. They can't do that.
So it doesn't go like that. Mm. There are 3 tiers of government established with their status to play their roles. All right? You remember when we were saying there, you have to reduce your cost of governance and all that. Even if you want to reduce your cost of governance, won't you do your need analysis to know where this cost of governance will be reduced? When Asiwaju Junior came and said, sorry, for foreign trips, the number of those who must be going must go down. Nigerians came to applaud that, which means he's a listening president. But do you think any president will come? He does not even have the power.
Okay, please hold the thought. I'll come back after the break, because that's a very important point he's made, that the president reduced the size of his delegation for foreign trips and that of all the government officials. We'll take a break. When we come back, of course, we'll continue with the conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We've been stuck on the economy in our review of the performance in the first 12 months of the Bola Tinubu administration. On May 29, the administration will clock 1 year. And with us in the studio to do justice to a review and a scorecard of the administration, of course, we have APC Chieftain, Akin Bashiru, who's scoring the Bola Tinubu administration overall performance 70%. And we have Ladipo Johnson, National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, who scored the Bola Tinubu administration 40% in its overall performance. I wouldn't know if I would love to be your student. But let's talk about this issue of exchange rate management. Now, you were talking about, while we're on the break, Ladipo Johnson, that if the government is serious about ensuring the Naira becomes stronger against the US dollar and other major foreign currencies, that there's something else they can do. Tell us about it.
No, I was just saying that. I was just being mischievous. I was saying that if we really want to give them an incentive to ensure that the exchange rate comes down, then make sure that all government officials that are traveling, that their, whatever it's called, is given to them in Naira, and they have to go and change it. So peg everything at the Naira value. If you are level so, 500,000 per night. If you are level so, 1 million per night. So, but at the moment, it's in dollars. So whatever the exchange rates, they're getting their dollars and going. But if you say that they get 500,000 per night, they'll make sure that the rate of dollar, the Naira to the dollar, rises. You understand? So that's okay. Just...
I don't know the length that will go, but I know that when you're traveling, you are entitled to Esther code anyway.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
And I'm not sure Esther code is in Naira or whatever. But please,
Can you spend naira in New York City?
I don't
No,
understand.
you can go and change
What
it.
difference would
if you are
Sorry,
entitled to
my brother, what
certain amount, then go and change it to what you need in London, to pounds.
Don't worry. What difference will it make? My Oyster code is $400. Convert it to naira. Give me the naira equivalent. After that, I will still go to the bank, isn't it, to go and convert it again. Is that not it? So it has not changed anything.
No.
It does not change anything.
It changes. What I'm saying, don't forget the word Oyster code. I am saying you are traveling. You are entitled, you are level 14. You are entitled to 1 million naira a day.
Yeah, that's Oyster code.
Yes, good. No, hang on.
Yeah.
And I give you that 1 million naira a day.
Yes.
Now, whether the naira is at 1,800 to the dollar,
Yeah.
or whether it is at 400 to the dollar,
Yeah.
you are still getting that 1 million. It will force you, if you're in government, to make sure, it gives you an incentive to make sure that the naira is stronger, because it is the naira you are getting, and that you are changing to whichever foreign currency you need. At the moment, they don't need to
Okay,
do anything.
Ladipo Johnson, I mean, you've talked about the fact that the NNPP, when it came into power, if he had come into power, rather, will have ensured that it cut cost of spending, you know, and Akin, you've been listening to him say that. And just to ensure that they make sure that inflation is brought down and even also strengthen the naira against major international currency. That's understandable. But the NNPP is in power in Kano State.
Yes.
And it's the same NNPP in a state that has a huge foreign debt in US dollars.
Yes, inherited from an APC man, Ganduje.
That is budgeting at least 18 billion naira for the 2024 Hajj exercise.
Good.
We transferred that money to the National Hajj Commission.
Exactly. Which
is that an indication of a party that believes in cutting government spending?
Fantastic. This same government has already sent over 1,001 students fully paid overseas. Masters, who have masters and PhD, who had first class.
How much did that cost?
You can imagine how much it would cost in US dollars to send 1,000.
But the point
hang on, I'm coming to that point.
At least 18 billion naira has been transferred from public funds to pay for people to go to Saudi Arabia.
90 billion was said by, what's his name? The Vice President, Shetima. With pride. That they what's the word?
Yeah, so are you saying NNPP NNPP is doing the same thing the APC is doing?
No. What I'm trying to say is this. The federal government, under Bola Tinubu, his vice president said, the president was gracious enough to have subsidized the Hajj by 90 billion naira in this present age. Do you understand? I don't agree with it.
But the NNPP
hang on.
You're not responding to that.
I'm responding to
because it's a situation of a kettle calling the pot black.
No.
Is Kano not subsidizing the Hajj?
Right.
They will subsidize them Ramadan feeding.
Ramadan feeding?
Sorry.
I'm probably subsidizing marriage.
Thank you. Because now, when you now go to the marriage, and you go to the Hajj, and you go to the fasting period, and they did that. You look at Kano, and you look at what they have religiously, or their culture, or what have you, and you put that within the context, and you bring it to the federal, and you look at the fact that I'm Christian. Do you understand? You look at Nigeria as a whole, look at the economy of Nigeria in the moment, and say 90 billion on Hajj. Whether it's Hajj, whether it's Jerusalem, I don't believe in it, personally. Anyone that wants to go on pilgrimage should be able to pay for themselves. But what I'm telling you is that if Kano can do what it is doing, educationally, healthcare-wise, and other things, including infrastructural development.
But you budgeted 6 billion naira for Ramadan feeding.
Yeah, exactly. It falls into the same thing.
I saw the clips of the governor of Kano State
going around to say the caterers were not doing well.
The food was poor quality.
Exactly. He went around saying that it wasn't 6 billion actually, that was a mistake. But he went around saying that the caterers were not doing what they were doing well.
The money was wasted.
No, it wasn't wasted, because the people were held to account and they changed and began to do. That's where you have a governor that is on top of the situation.
But
where
what
that
do you
is
say to
going
this?
right,
Yeah,
round.
Akin Bashiru, how can a party who is spending 18 billion naira to pay for people to go on tourism or pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia, can they point a finger at the APC for spending 90 billion naira and for being profligate, in terms of government spending?
Like you said earlier, it's in the public domain to
Exactly.
know whether a pot can call a kettle black. But I think beyond that, I think one area that we have always neglected is we put all the pressure on the federal government, all right? But we have forgotten that state governments are constituents of governance. Where each state is properly governed, are you with me? You have limited power.
We have to go. We have to go.
Right.
So basically, you're saying you're both the same.
We're not.
No.
We're
We have
not.
to go.
Ask
We have to go.
Nigerians. Nigerians will tell you what they think about the Tinubu
We have
administration.
to go. I want to thank you very much for your time.
Totally not.
We've not been able to move beyond the economy, but you've both done justice to this. I want to thank you very much for your time. Akin Bashiru of the APC and Ladipo Johnson of the NNPP.
Thank you.
Maybe when you come to power, you do better.
We will definitely.
Or you continue from where they stopped.
No, not from where they start.
So where are you going to start?
Except they improve. Except they improve.
Where are you going to start from?
Thank you very
Except
much
they
for your
improve.
time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kofi Bartels. We'll return with more on Politics HQ tomorrow. Good night.